What's going on, guys? My name is Michael. I run a mobile ski and snowboard tuning business in Summit County, and I was just going to kind of share my story of how I got out to Colorado and how I started this business and making a living doing something I enjoy so much and helping so many people get to go enjoy the slopes. So basically, my mom, she's from France, and she had me and my brother Chris, and we lived in Florida. I was born in Orlando, so I grew up skateboarding, going to the beaches and stuff like that. And then when I turned 10, my family decided to take me to North Carolina, or Tennessee actually, and that's where I hated it. I lost all my friends, and I was like, what's going on? And why are we living on this random small exit in Tennessee? And my mom's like, well, I promise I'll get you into ski slopes or on the snow. And I was like, okay, that sounds fun. So fortunately, I guess she was in the medical field. She had like a patient that worked at one of the small ski resorts, Beach Mountain, and he would give our family free ski passes on the weekends here and there. So we'd be able to go, like, I was like 12 years old at the time, like maybe 5-6 times a season with the family, and get like grab the board off Craigslist, $50. I think my first board was like a Sims. And then I like fell in love with it. As a Florida kid, I saw snow and I was like, I love this stuff, and started kept skateboarding, growing, and my teenage years still got to go some. Didn't really have like a ton of money to go all the time, but every chance I could, like my dad would take me up there, and we would Beach Mountain at the time actually did a free men's night, which was incredible. Like you could go snowboard for free or ski at Beach Mountain. So we would go there on those weekdays, night sessions, and I fell in love with it. And as I got older after that, like high school was going on, and like I said, Dad has taken me around and stuff when I could go a few times a year. And then I was always kind of into business as a kid. My dad's always been an entrepreneur. He never really like did well with it in the beginning or anything, but he's always like buying and selling cars and just trying to feed the family and keep my mom happy and whatnot. And I had that spark in me as well. And a lot of my friends, their parents had money and whatnot, so like they'd always have gas money and be able to go out all the time and buy food, and I couldn't do it. So I've asked myself, like, how can I just like get by and be able to go out and eat and be able to drive around and go party in high school and whatnot. So I found a niche with iPhones, and I loved iPods in the beginning. I like learned how to like do Cydia stuff and hack them or whatever you call it at the time, and I started to build a reputation in high school, 9th grade actually, just right in the beginning, and everyone kind of knew me as like the iPhone kid in a way, like. So I built like this reputation, and all these people were like, hey, my dad's selling this phone and stuff, and so I'd buy low, sell high, and I was able to keep up with all my friends. I always had money to go out to eat and money to grab some beers and stuff like that. But that was my first kind of taste in business, and I got to learn that you can build a reputation just over like a short amount of time if you stay consistent with something. So I kept that in mind, and high school was finishing up. I was getting a little bit older, and I really wanted to work at the only ski shop that's in my hometown. There was only 8 employees, so it was like really hard to get a job there. But I knew one person, and I just like went in there like every other week. I was like, please let me get a job here. I promise I'll work hard. And so I quit this crappy job that I had, and I worked at this ski shop. Got paid way less, but I loved it way more. And then they gave me a season pass, so I was able to go to Sugar Mountain. Literally, I would go like 60 days a season on the East Coast. That mountain is, gosh, like maybe like a mile long, but like just, I don't know, it's pretty small. This chairlifts at the time were extremely slow, and like it would take you 5 minutes to get down and 20 minutes to get up, and it was pretty brutal. I moved out here when I was 20 years old, so I'd work at the ski shop, and I tried to get the employee housing at Copper, and because I got a job, but housing's expensive here where we live, so I couldn't find anything. So I had to wait another year working at this crappy ski shop, not going to college. I felt so bad, like I was just like wasting a whole year. My mom wanted me to do something. I was like, I didn't have any direction. I didn't know what I was doing in my life. But I ended up coming to Summit. I got the housing, and the job, I ran a tune shop at Copper Mountain, and I was in Colorado. I had a place to live. It was a real small dorm, and I ran this tune shop with one other guy, and I learned a bunch of skills and how to talk to people better. And basically, I went back home because my season was over and I couldn't really afford to live here without the employee housing. And I knew one guy that I became buddies with, and a year passed by. I had an injury and stuff like that, and then I asked this gentleman, I was like, hey, you know anyone renting a place? And he let me move into his home, and I've been there ever since, like you know. But so basically this is my first venture to Colorado with like an actual place, like not just for ski resort. Like I want to be here long term. I'm paying rent at a place. And so what happened, I was working at a valet job. I was working this valet job, and I was asking myself every day, I was really unhappy with the job. I was like, how can I make just as much money or more doing something I enjoy? And I would just think, and I was like, what do I have? What skills? And I was like, I'm not a plumber, I'm not an electrician, but I know how to tune skis. And I started thinking on that, and it literally, like the thought came up kind of in one day. It's like, what if I started a mobile ski tuning business? And I drink coffee. I never drink coffee. I was like wired. And
when you had this idea?
Yeah, dude. So I hopped on Craigslist and I started looking at these Sprinter vans, and I had like $10,000 saved up I'd worked for and all. And I found a van for like, the guy was asking like $12,000 for it, and I was like, I got 9.5 and I'll come get it tomorrow. And he was like, no, let me talk to my family and stuff. And he let it go. I went down there and met him. I told him what I was trying to do, and he was like, yeah. So he gave me that first little break. I was able to get the van, and then I was completely broke. And I met another entrepreneur along the path, and he said, you need to quit your job. And I'm like, well, I just got this van. Like a bar at the valet place I worked at, this high-end bar. What I did, and my coworkers hated me for it, I asked the owner of the company, because I used to valet his car.
Yeah.
I said, if I put on a nice shirt, can I sit with you guys on Mondays when you give out free drinks at the bar to your guests?
Yeah.
And he said, sure. And that's when the idea was already kicked in. I had bought the van, and I talked to this guy who's another entrepreneur, and he's like, right in front of the boss of the guy I work for, says, you need to quit your job and go to do this thing full time. And it scared the crap out of me. I was like, I don't know how to make money. I've got bills to pay. Like, I've got this van, I've got insurance and all this stuff. And I'm just thinking of like, I can't, instead of like, how can I? And what I ended up doing is I took a loan from another friend that I knew. He gave me like $7,000 to help me get all of my tools and just like the basics, like the basic tuning tools to put in this van, to insulate it, and to put a magnet on the side with my name, which I still just use a magnet. But so I quit the job, and then now my goal, it's November, winter's coming in, and I'm like, how do I get customers? So I literally Vistaprint like 200 business cards, and I'm going down Main Street Frisco, Main Street Breck, talking to every business owner saying, hey, I do this mobile ski tuning thing. I would love to tune your skis, or you know anyone. Like, I was super pumped about it. I knew I had the skill set and I could make people happy with my work. And that just wasn't catching. So I thought to myself, like, what else can I do? And I went to the local newspaper, Summit Daily, which is like covers our whole region, and I said, hey, my name's Michael, I'm 22, I'm starting this business, you guys want to write a story on it? And the guy, Eli Pace was the journalist. He was an awesome guy, but he said no. He was like, no. And then I was like, okay, well, it's outside if you want to see it. And he's like, I'll come look at it. He comes and looks at it, and he's like, how old are you? I'm like, 22. And he's like, oh, this is actually kind of cool, and just kind of left it at that. The next day, this journalist calls me and says, hey, I need my skis tuned. I'm like, okay. So I was like, I'll be there in an hour. So I show up to his place, and he hops in my van with his camera and his notepad and his little voice memo thing, and he's taking notes and just asking me my story. And he gets things about my family and like heritage and all this stuff, and like how I started the business, my plans with it, and he puts it in this article. It comes out like 2-3 days later, and the next day I had $700 of business, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I took every call, I wrote them down, I went and did all the jobs, and I was like, this can work. I knew like it gave me enough like of like, oh, I made that much money a day that I knew it could work. But after that, it died down. Like there was no business. Like it would have been like weeks straight, and my van kept having problems and breaking down, and I was like getting super discouraged. I almost gave up completely and just sold the van and just like, I'm done with this. Like I went through like a whole stage of that.
Was that your only vehicle?
It was my only vehicle, and it still is my only vehicle.
Yeah.
The Ski Dock van. I drive that everywhere. That was like 3.5 years ago. Yeah, I'm approaching 4 years.
And then did you have another, like you meeting Jonathan and starting to get into his videos? How did that impact your business?
Oh, that was really cool.
He's not only your best friend, right? But I mean,
yeah, he's become a really close friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and his family and all, and I was going to a church actually at the time, and one of the guys at the church knew Jonathan, and he knew he was doing this YouTube thing, and he recommended Jonathan and he recommended to me that we meet each other. I didn't really pay much attention to it, but I ended up buying a phone off of him off Craigslist, and that's when he was at a gas station. He met me. I was on my way to do a job, and he was like, yo, here's the phone, but like I would love to, I think it's really cool what you're doing, like I'd love to, chat or hang out or snowboard or something.
Yeah.
And I kind of was kind of rude to him, honestly, and he'll tell you that. It's kind of rude to him, and then we ended up going snowboarding, hit him back up, and we just talked about business and like just became friends. Like we were both trying to make a living in something that was so new and didn't know if it was going to work, and I picked up the camera and I started helping him film his YouTube edits, like for his, I don't do any editing or anything, but like I held the camera and got close, and like that skateboard background I come from, he was really happy with it, and so we started doing that pretty frequently and becoming really close friends. And he's giving me shout outs or starting his vlogs out in the van so people get to see my business and get to watch, and so all of a sudden I'm getting all these customers from all around the nation, like New York and California and Orlando and Tennessee, just all walks of life. And I'm a people person, so I get to meet all these cool people. And then I'm like, how'd you hear about me? I'm like, oh, Jonathan, or I heard about you, I read about you in the article or something. And it's just amazing to see it grow and be able to make a living doing something I enjoy so much.
Yeah.
The future I think is pretty bright, but I'm not that bright, so I got to figure out. I'm getting more business than I can handle sometimes, and the scheduling gets a little hard.
Yeah.
But I'm talking to a lot of people, to a lot of people, trying to learn and navigate whether I want to go the franchise route or hire help and get another van and all these things. So I think over the next year of 2020, I'm gonna be real focused on trying to figure out building a business plan and moving forward, and learning numbers and how business works when you bring it to another level versus just working, owning your own job, working for yourself. I think this service has so much potential to help so many people save time.
Yeah.
And a lot of people complain to me how they take it to a shop, they're tired of waiting 5 days, and it seems like the job's not really done. They don't know who's working on it, whereas like when someone comes to their house, it's personable, they know who's working on the gear, and it's quicker, it's one job at a time. It's just a unique thing. It saves the people time, just right to them, whether at their house, they're in their car going to the ski resort, or just anywhere. Tell myself like 15 or 20 years old, and before I knew to come out here, is to be patient, stay consistent, don't work hard, but don't get too down on yourself when things don't work out. Just be patient, work a little bit each day, keep going towards it, and eventually, if you're on the right thing, you'll know it. You'll want to keep working towards it, and you won't give up, and you'll get there. I think that's it. Because like I'm nowhere near where I want to be quite yet. I'm still kind of putting that vision together, but I'm really content with where I'm at. I'm really excited. Like it's fun.
That's So how much of this do you equate to luck, to where you're at in life right now? How much do you equate it to luck, and how much do you equate it to maybe hard work and skill?
I don't know if I don't know if I like the word luck. Like I believe in God, and I think that like God opened up doors and put people in my path to help me learn or steer me in a certain direction. And because like I can't really tell the path going forward, but I can always tell where I'm kind of gotten by looking backwards at my life. And it's the people and the conversations and the things that like led me to the encouragement to even build the courage to move out to Colorado. That was tough, to move away from home and like so far across the country at 20 years old. It was certain people that were put in my path that were like, that listened to me and my goals, give me words of encouragement. And I think that's somewhat divine. I really do. I don't know if luck, I mean, hard work. I don't know. I just don't like the term luck. I don't know.
Serendipity.
Yeah. That's just my personal opinion
Yeah,
on it.
that's cool. I like that. That's a good answer. That's good, man. Any closing thoughts? Anything?
Send it.
Send it? Okay.
Have fun. Enjoy life. I mean, I work hard and I play hard. My body gets tired, and give yourself some rest.
Yeah.
Too, when you need it, and be available and serve others. I think that's where you first make a living, and also just get fulfillment in life and help others in service.
Is that
providing
what fulfills
a service.
you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like when I get a DM back, like how happy someone is of like, hey, like you really helped. I had a good time. Like I really enjoyed snowboarding today, or I was able to provide that service to them, and that makes me feel good. And that's like beyond the money. Like that's what I want to build. Yeah. That's what I want to do with my life.
Oh, that's awesome. It's so fast! Slow down! This is so hard! My bindings! I want my bindings back! It's too fast!